Hello, welcome to Invictus Motors. My name is Basheer Zaheer. We've got a Porsche 911. It's the 997.1 Carrera 4S. This is with the Tiptronic transmission, which I'm actually a very big fan of, purely because of the way it feels, the way it drives. It has its own character. But this car is actually special for three main reasons. One of them being is just the specification this comes in, and one of the big items is of course the Porsche sports exhaust, all from factory. You'd also be glad to know that this has had an in-depth engine rebuild, alongside the fact it's had quite a lot, or pretty much all the coolant pipes also replaced. It's got brand new discs and pads which were put in 2,000 miles ago, as well as brand new front and rear tires which were also put in 2,000 miles ago. I will be reviewing this 997 not just for its condition, but also for what it's like to drive, how it handles, especially the automatic Tiptronic aspect of it, why Porsche decided to put that gearbox into these 911s, and overall what kind of a feedback you get from actually driving one of these. I mean, truly what kind of a feedback you get. Currently this has done 51,000 miles. It is available in our stock. And you can find it by clicking on the link below in this YouTube video. And if you've got any further questions, just feel free to contact us. Don't forget to subscribe. We earn out of YouTube through YouTube monetization. Whatever money we make, we donate that to a UK registered charity, and we use it to do humanitarian work in Afghanistan. So thank you for watching the video. Now back to the Porsche 911. I've promised you a test drive, so we will get right into it and take it up for a test drive. Come back in, talk to you about the outside, a bit of the inside spec, and just take you through the paperwork. So let's go. After doing the intro at our place, we're here at this lovely farm, and we're going to just take this out for a test drive that it deserves, because I do need to stretch my legs in this and get to you to truly appreciate how amazing it sounds. And it having the engine rebuild, despite it being over a year ago, this engine still runs as if it was rebuilt yesterday. It's got a beautiful, beautiful sound to it. And right from the get-go, the sports exhaust, the PSC system, is turned on. Now let's hear it. I will put it in neutral slightly. I'll put it in neutral for a minute, just to get you to hear that sound. And that's the beautiful sound. And it's holding there in the third gear at 60 miles an hour. And let's just discuss the topic of the 5-speed Tiptronic transmission, because this gearbox was a market-leading gearbox to have in sports cars. Porsche has had this gearbox in the 997 Turbo, the 996 Turbo, and from a transmission point of view, they are absolutely bulletproof in some way, form or shape. Some could even argue they're probably mechanically, from a reliability point of view, they're probably a better gearbox than a PDK, purely because not much goes ever wrong with these transmission. They've also have their own characteristics, quite analog. You get these numbers here on the side which say it's 5 on the gauge on the right, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can basically have complete manual control over the gearbox. So I'll slide this gear selector over to the left side. I will drop this to first gear. We'll wait for this car to pass by, and this is just to kind of illustrate me giving it a good push, getting you to appreciate the sound, but at the same time knowing that I've got complete manual control over this transmission. Us at 5,000 RPM, well now 5,500 RPM in second gear. drop to second gear now. And for a moment, you wouldn't think. Let's drop back to second. For a moment, you wouldn't think you're driving an auto transmission Porsche 911, because once you put this transmission over into the completely manual side of things, it handles and feels superb, and the transmission is incredibly responsive to the nature of driving that I'm doing right now. And if I was to put it back to the right side in the D mode auto, third gear, 4,000 RPM. This being the four-wheel drive Porsche 911 Carrera 4S, it's a little bit more heavier because of the second four-wheel drive axle, as well as this being the Tiptronic automatic transmission, that adds a little bit weight to it, and it being a convertible, that adds a little bit weight to it as well. All of this makes this car a lot more planted. You get a much more assured drive having all these things added to the car. And it having the fully brand new discs and pads all around, new tires, all of it done about 2,000 miles, all of it installed about 2,000 miles ago, it grips and holds to the road incredibly well. Now let's talk about performance. What kind of performance numbers can one expect out of this 3.8 litre naturally aspirated flat six engines? The 997.1s also are on the, I mean, you can apply to have them on the classic registered with Porsche. You do get a few perks. That's performance. Let's talk about performance. This produces 350 bhp, so that's 350 brake horsepower, 380 Newton meters of torque, and the 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds. And the top speed on this is 183 miles per hour. And we've gone up to about 65 miles per hour, and in terms of this being a sport transmission, it's held its gear to third, it's dropped a gear as we were turning to second, and you don't feel the gear changes as you would expect to if you were driving an earlier model Porsche 911, where the single clutch transmission could feel a little bit jerky, but definitely not with the automatic Tiptronic transmission in the 997. So much to cover, so much to discuss, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Now it's just gone from the third to the second gear, and beautiful, responsive. Ever since the first time we had a Porsche 911 with a Tiptronic gearbox, I've always been very surprised with how nice that transmission is, how responsive, fluid and effective of a gearbox it is. And if for any reason it wasn't, why would the best sports car manufacturer in the world have it in their marquee brand? I'm sure they would look at alternatives. But they have put the Tiptronic gearbox. It's been adapted, tuned to the Porsche 911 because it does an incredible job. Let's talk about the rest of the specification. This has got the leather multifunctional steering wheel. The buttons there are extremely handy to actually drop gears up, which is going to fifth, fourth, third, and now second, because I will be turning around in this slit space. So it's very effective at allowing you this type of manual engagement. Now here, in terms of the buttons, you've got the front heated seats, you've got the Porsche Sports exhaust button, the Porsche Active Suspension Management System button as well for the damper control. The navigation system, well, this system right here has now got Bluetooth connectivity both for your telephone calls and music, also navigation. And if you wanted a more OEM look to this, we also offer installation of the PCCM Plus systems. It's not that I would recommend it because this has already been upgraded, but we can offer that to you at a cost of £1,800 to supply and fit it. We just sold one of those this morning. Now the seats, these are the sport seats, memory. They've also got multi-function, memory buttons here as well, so you can program the 2 keys to the memory of the vehicle. So if you're getting in and out of the vehicle, the seats kind of adjust to you without you having to manually change anything. Lumbar support, as I mentioned, Bose sound system, the Gavano silver interior, which looks incredible. It's got the extended leather interior with dual tone leather interior grey and the black dash. And the Gavano silver is also included into the front gauges that you see, both for your rev meter, for your other gauges. It's beautiful to look at, very nice to admire. This is finished in silver. That works really well with the Gavano interior trim. Overall, just the elegance of the Porsche 911, just the elegant shape of the Porsche 911 997, and just the way the look and feel and the nimbleness of what it looks like, and just the kind of a stance it has overall from the above and from the back. It's so seamless, classic, elegant, beautiful. The lines run so fluidly all the way through the car. I mean, just looking at the front fenders there, I mean, how they curve to both sides, and the front of the body sloping down, and then all the way to the back of it, these big massive wide hips, they just look incredible. And when you are looking at a 911 with a classic nimble bodied, narrow, just a beautiful shape all around, I must say that the 997 is definitely by far the best looking Porsche 911 of what 911s are all about nowadays today, because I do feel that the 992s are just too far rounded there up here, and the proportions just work incredibly well. I'm so impressed with the 997, and they by far are my favorite Porsche 911s, just because the shape of it, they're still to a very large degree not very wide in comparison to what you find nowadays, and not long, and they drive and handle incredibly well. And it having the Porsche Sports exhaust just does it for me. And hopefully that should just convince you of everything you need to know on this 911. And we'll talk about the exterior spec, interior, and just show you the paperwork on why you should buy this 911, because it has the engine rebuild. Spec-wise, it's finished in this gorgeous Atlas grey metallic color. It looks amazing, complemented with the 19-inch Carrera Classic alloys. The daytime running lights have been upgraded to LED, and you've got the bi-xenon front main headlights with headlight washers. Additionally, you've also got the side heated side door mirrors. This is of course the convertible. It's the 4S, so you get the wider body 911 look to it, and you can find the Carrera 4S badging to the back of it, which I think just looks exquisite. Not just the badging of course, but just obviously the wider body 911. And it being the convertible, it looks impressive when the roof is down, and you've got the very desirable spec item of having the Porsche sports exhaust system, as well as this having PSM, the Porsche active suspension management system. This is the damper control that gives you slightly stiffer ride. Let me now take you onto the inside, because it's got a rather unique specification on the inside. Right from the get-go, you've got the Gabbana, the Gabbana silver trim here on the side doors. This is very rare. Practically 1 in 1,000 of these Porsche 911s had the Gabbana silver trimming, so a very rare spec item. It's got the Bose sound system, so the most premium sound system that you could get in the 911s back in 2005. It also has the memory seats options, so with lumbar support, the seats are also heated. You've got the leather steering wheel with the multifunctional buttons here as well to control radio, etc. The the main display there is also upgraded. It's got navigation connectivity, and it's got Bluetooth connectivity both for your music and telephone calls. And you've got, once you open the glove box, you've got 2 USB cables as well. And the inside leather, it's finished in this grey, complemented with a black dash here as well. And I think overall this has the extended leather package. It's been very well maintained, well looked after, and I think it's in a condition ready to be enjoyed by its next keeper. This now has had a very expensive engine rebuild. The engine rebuild was at a cost of about £11,000. All the liners, pistons, they've been replaced. It's got the uprated EPS, IMS bearing, and the RMS seals have also been upgraded. Practically comes with an absolutely bulletproof warranty both for the engine and gearbox, which lasts 1 more year. The engine rebuild was done about a year ago. Overall, mechanically, it's in incredible condition. If you follow me, I will just show you the paperwork for this 911. There's no better place to have a display desk than the back of the GT3 RS. If you're looking to spend a little bit more, just up your budget a bit, you could actually treat yourself to a GT3 RS, just remortgage your house or sell a flat. And okay, so let's get going. The engine rebuild invoice. This is the engine rebuild invoice. If you just come a bit nearer, in total there's 2 invoices, so there were just a few items that were replaced that were different. So this is the total cost of the engine rebuild, just over £11,000, and it's had things like the tandem pump, the other bigger items, the ignition coil, spark plugs, all the liners were replaced, all the pistons were replaced. They are common. These 911s are common, not the GT3 RS, but these 911s are common for ball scoring issues. So when you do have scoring, some people decide to actually rebuild the whole engine rather than run it with scoring, which can worsen over time. So an engine rebuild kind of puts those fears to the side, and you get you're into a situation where you can live and think freely, and just enjoy the car just for what it is. Now it's got another invoice with £2,500 worth of work, which is the coolant pipes, as well as the transmission was serviced, had the aircon regas. From memory, I believe the front condensers were also replaced, the brake fluid done, and the Porsche sports exhaust system valves were just kind of, from memory, replaced, oiled and refurbished. So a combination of everything there. There's quite a few other invoices right here as well. A lot of it is from Design 911 with just extra bits such as the daytime running LED lamps, and a few other invoices with other things that the previous owner, Mark Slater, who is, I would call, a Porsche enthusiast owner. Other invoices, previous invoices in terms of previously when it's had work, previous purchase invoices, etc. This is the service history here as well. Most of the maintenance has been done by Peter Nash over the years. They're a Porsche specialist, and it brings you all the way to the engine rebuild that was done by Track Group on the 8th 2021. The rebuild warranty actually runs to the end of the year because we didn't sell it for another 2 months after the rebuild was done, just because we needed to iron out a couple of other smaller things such as the coolant pipes, the sports exhaust valves, etc. And then it had the air oil separator also replaced after the rebuild, circa 5 months or circa I would say a year later. And during that time, it's had the run-in service as well at 1,000 miles, and we also have done another service just as a precautionary thing, just to make sure that the vehicle is run well, looked after and maintained to absolutely the best possible standard that you could expect of somebody owning a Porsche 911, and us as a Porsche specialist making sure that it's been looked after, maintained, and just given the level of care that one could expect and that one could possibly give to a Porsche 911, and that's what we have done. So thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in future content. Bye bye.